At the height of you selling cocaine with the Nicaraguans, were you actually going to Nicaragua and everything else like that?
No, I've never been to Nicaragua.
Never. You never wanted to go and meet with
I didn't need to. They asked me.
Oh, they invited you?
Yeah, to Mexico too.
Okay. Now, when you hear of cocaine, you always hear of Pablo Escobar, you hear of Colombia and so forth. Were you dealing with the Colombians at all?
They were.
Oh, the Nicaraguans were. Oh, so
Yeah,
that
I
was
think,
being done.
I think they were dealing with the Choas, the Escobar, and the Medellin at that time. I think Medellin was another one of the top families.
Did Pablo Escobar never try to reach out to you directly? And
Nah.
He was too big. I mean, I guess like he was moving too much.
I don't know. I probably wouldn't have talked to him anyway.
Okay.
I picked who I wanted to talk to.
You had your connect. It worked for you, and you stuck with your connect all the way through.
I wasn't looking for customers, and I wasn't looking for connects.
Okay. So you go to jail, you come out, you're not dealing cocaine anymore.
Right.
But then Blandone reaches out to you
Mm-hmm.
and wants you to do one more deal.
Well, he didn't really want me to do the deal. He wanted me to introduce him to somebody
Okay.
that would do a deal with him.
I mean, it kind of sounds like the movie Blow a little bit.
Well, you know, all drug deals are almost the same. You know, when somebody's working with DEA, they use the same tactic.
Okay.
It's just I never saw the movie Blow.
Oh, you never saw it?
I saw it now. You know, me and Nick Cassavetes wrote a script together. The guy who wrote Blow, and I also had the opportunity to meet George as well.
Boston George.
Boston George.
Okay. Was that before or after?
When he got out.
Oh, he's out.
Yeah, he's out.
Oh, okay. So, if you look at, for example, a Boston George and a Freeway Rick, who was the bigger entity? You know, just so people can kind of get it in perspective.
I don't know, you know, because I don't really know what Boston George was doing.
Okay,
You
fair
know,
enough.
I don't know his.
So, but you never had to interact with him, or
No, I didn't, and I didn't care.
Yeah.
See, I was gonna make my 200,000 every day.
Right.
That's all I cared about.
Okay.
What this guy is doing, none of my business. Why do I need to know his business?
Fair enough.
I want to keep him out of mine.
Okay. So you hook up with Blandone again, and he wanted you to introduce you to someone and so
Right.
forth, and you eventually do it. And what happens next?
Police, helicopters. It's like a party. Boom. Cars are people heads are popping up out of cars, and I mean it was a setup.
So explain the whole Iran-Contra thing and what your role in it and what Blandone's role was in it.
Well, my role was that Blandone would bring me drugs to sell to raise money for the Contras. The Contras was backed by the CIA, which was Ronald Reagan and George Bush, and George Bush's pet peeve, George Bush Sr.'s pet peeve. They felt that if they lost Nicaragua, that Russia would be marching down the streets of the United States.
Okay, but where's the Iran part?
Well, they sold guns to Iran and took the money and gave it to the Contras.
But then they were also selling drugs, well, they were allowing drugs to pass through into America and using that money and putting it to the Contras as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But the initial money come from Iran because the Congress had said that they couldn't give the Contras any money. So they had to get it from a source that nobody would know about. I mean, it's so much there. You know, you really got to do your homework. And then, you know, they also had the hostages in Iran that Ronald Reagan was able to get loose because he was going to give them weapons for the hostages along with getting some money.
How much of this did you actually know about?
None. I learned
So-
all this while I was in jail.
Okay, so when you were actually selling drugs and so forth, did it seem...
I didn't care about Iran.
Yeah. You didn't care about
None of that stuff.
the Contras in Nicaragua, nothing. You were just selling drugs and making
Man,
money.
let's make some money.
All this is happening, and the CIA is actually overlooking this whole process, right?
From what I understand.
From what you understand.
Yeah. I didn't see the CIA doing it, but you know, they came back and said, yeah, we were watching them. We were
Okay.
helping them.
At a certain point, did you ever think, you know, I'm getting all this cocaine,
No.
and no one's getting busted. And I mean, we're
Well, people were getting busted.
okay. I mean,
My guys were getting busted.
Were there huge seizures and everything else like that? Like, were you expecting a big package one day and it just never came, and there was a drought until the next?
No, we didn't have those issues.
And do you think it was because the CIA was involved?
No, I don't know. That wasn't my lane.
Okay.
You know, I don't know what Danilo and them had going on.
So you weren't actually involved in the smuggling of it all?
No, not at all.
So
when I got it, it was already here.
Okay, you didn't care how it got over there?
Not at all.
And you weren't, it's not like you would pick up some huge, some huge storage canister with like $1 billion worth. You were getting...
I got mine issued daily.
Daily?
Yeah.
You were never getting a huge, massive amount?
No.
Okay, is there a reason why they dealt with the risk of daily as opposed to one big monthly haul?
Well, that's what I could pay for. I usually took what I could pay for.
Okay.
I didn't really like credit either.
Okay, so you never actually had credit with these guys?
Nah, because then, if you take credit from people, then you kind of like work for them.
Right.
Then they can start telling you what to do. And nobody was able to tell me what to do.
Okay.
I did what I wanted to do.
When you hear the horror stories of dealing with these overseas drug, operations where people's entire families would end up dead, and like people would fuck off some money and so forth like that. Did you ever deal with any of that around you? Like, did you ever see that type of stuff happening?
Well, I know. I've known of people getting killed. Somebody come in to rob the place and kill everybody in the house. I've heard of that. And,
yeah.
Those streets that it happened on, in L.A. But it's, kidnapping. I mean, a lot of that's part. When you run around the street with $200,000, $300,000, $1 million, and everybody else is making. You figure at that time, a good job in L.A. was like $500.
Yeah.
So it's tempting,
So that deal with Blandone put you right back in prison again.
Yeah.
And at that point, they gave you life?
Life without the possibility of parole.
Okay. How did you feel when you went to trial with it?
I went to trial.
I guess you don't plea bargain for life.
They asked me to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, with a possibility of parole kind of thing?
Yeah. I wanted a 20-year deal, and they offered me a plea where I pled guilty. And if the judge wanted to give me 20, she could. But if she wanted to give me life, she could.
You didn't want to risk that?
Nah, I said, I'll take my chance on appeal.
So you went to trial. How much did you spend? I mean, did you
I
have
helped the jury out, though. The jury stayed out for a day and a half.
Okay.
They thought about letting me go.
Did you have money at this point or no?
A little.
A little bit, but not like before?
No.
Okay.
Money was gone.
The money was gone. Where did the money go?
All kind of places, people grab you in prison, When I got arrested on the first case, they put in there I was going to get life.
So everyone's grabbing everything they can grab.
He don't need it anymore.
Yeah. So you go to trial again.
Yep.
And you lose.
Lose.
Life without the possibility of parole. How did you feel when they read that to you?
Mad, sad, because my mom was there. She broke down in court. A bunch of different feelings,
You end up going to prison. And how did you manage to actually get out of that life sentence?
Well, I taught myself to read and write.
Okay. You were illiterate up to this point.
Yeah, pretty much. I could read a little. I started learning how to read.
Okay.
But I was still, pretty illiterate. But I just started practicing reading every day. Started reading law books, and then one day, I'm sitting there reading, and the words that I needed, continuous criminal spree, popped out, and I was like, oh, wow, that's what I've been needing. On that case, I did 14 in about 8 or 9 months.